Jay Fortune checking in for Sports Club Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Florida Citrus Sports High School Football Media Days. I'm here with Matanzas. Coach.
You nailed it, by the way.
Thank you.
Very
That was a lot of stress on my chest. Give us the breakdown, man, for the members that may not be familiar with Matanzas.
Well, we're located in Palm Coast, Flagler County, which is just north of Daytona Beach, just south of St. Augustine. But yeah, we're 21-20 over the last 4 years. I know, just north of the 500 line, but when we took over the program, we had a goal to climb daily, to try to, every program's got a ceiling. And that's just the way it is. And if you want to deny that, you're just not being realistic. But every place has a ceiling of what you can accomplish and where you can get to. And for us, we just wanted to kind of break through that glass ceiling, whatever it was. And, I think we were able to do that. We've got over 100 kids in our program now. For the second year in a row, when I took over in 2020, we had 37. So just growing the program and I think winning is a product of everything we do behind the scenes. I think our guys buying into morning workouts in the off season, working out early morning in the summer to beat the heat, and all those kind of things. Our commitment to the classroom, our commitment to the community, we only got one team rule, and it's really a team. If you can do this, you can be a part of our football program, and that's just do right. And so whenever you're faced with a tough decision, whether it's in school, whether it's, to be on time to class, whether it's to study for that test, turn in your homework on time, or whether it's to make the right read on defense or do your assignment on offense, whatever it is, do the right thing. And, sure. That's something our program is built on, and I think that's a direct result of why we are where we're at today. And, a lot of people might not still know about us, but more people do now than have before. So as long as we're making gains and climbing, that's all we can really ask for.
Members, let me tell you about Matanzas. I've never heard about Matanzas until this morning. I was in the parking lot going through my notes, practicing Matanzas, and I saw a bus pull in, a van. I think it was a van.
Yeah.
I think you were the first team to get here this morning.
Yeah, they had to wake up at like what? Y'all left at 6:15? Yeah, it's pretty early. But
yeah, so
you got to do what you got to do.
My question was going to be about culture, but I think that pretty much explains the culture when you talk about discipline, when you talk about getting up early and putting into work. So we're going to skip ahead, and we're going to talk about identity. I'm a defensive guy. I don't know.
I'm an offensive guy.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the offensive identity you're trying to establish with Matanzas going into this season.
Well, when I first got the job in 2020, we were a wishbone-style offense before I got there. We went straight to the air raid. That's my background.
There you go.
I coached in college football for 7 years at the FCS level. I was with Murray State with Chris Hatcher, who was one of the, I guess, godfathers of the air raid offense with, Hal Mumme and Mike Leach and all those guys when he was at Kentucky. And so a lot of what he does is a lot like what we do, with kind of a flair that we have, and really analytics that kind of fit the high school game more so than the college game. I mean, when you see the air raid in college, I mean, everybody's high level and elite, right? In high school, you got to be able to adapt that offense a little bit to kind of fit higher percentages. But we base in the air raid. So, it's fun. I mean, it was exciting for our fans and our community to see going from the wishbone from so many years to really spreading it out and throwing it downfield and kind of all over the yard. So that's really who we are offensively. Defensively, we're multiple. We can line up in a bear, 4 down, 3 down, dime packages, nickel. Because of our process, like you said, and our culture, just the commitment to being able to learn all those types of aspects and really dive into what it takes to play for us, not only from a physical or an academic, but also a cognitive level to be able to kind of process all that is pretty rigorous. But we've had guys go on to college, and the first thing they tell us is how well they translate to the next level because of the stuff that we do on both sides of the ball and the culture from the workouts and the academics and and holding them accountable in between the school walls and out in the community. Those standards that we have, it's made it an easier transition. A transition from high school to college is never easy, but it makes it easier because they kind of have that background of what to expect. Like, okay, I was used to having my grades monitored every week. I was used to having to go to workouts at 6:30 a.m. Yep. I was used to, my social media being monitored, right? These guys have gotten some calls like, hey, that music you got on it, you might want to pick the clean version. Or
what you doing?
So just the process and the things that we do within our program have just made it easier. But that's kind of the identity that we are. We try to run it as close to a college program as we can, and that helps, prepare the guys that do go to college for an easier transition, but also, when you got to get a real job or you got to go to college and get to class on time, if you're just a regular student, all those things add up, right? And so if you're held to that standard in our program, and you make it for 4 years, that transition to the real world is a little bit easier.
No wasted opportunities at Matanzas.
We try not to. But it gives us the gray beard, though. Yeah. The white beard gives it a little bit.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's distinguished.
It's experience.
Coach, talk to me about leadership. Talk about leadership in your program. You just said 100 something?
We got over 100 for the second year.
Okay.
We try to be a player-led team. With that being said, we're very fortunate to have great administration. We got a great school district. From the top down, we got great administration. We got great principal and assistant principals, great athletic director. So again, it takes a village to be able to do these kind of things and to have that support day in, day out. So, I think as leaders, we try our best to develop them and give them the tools that they need, whether it's through a book study or whether it's through just mentorship, just being available all the time. Our assistant coaches are available 24/7 to these guys. All of our coaches look at these kids as their own. And, that's big for me when I look to go hire coaches is, hey, the same thing we tell the players every day, like, it's hard to be a part of this football program. I tell the coaches too, like, it's not easy. Yeah. We meet probably more than most high school staffs do. We're, we staff meet after practice. We staff meet on Sundays. There's a lot of attention to detail. And, with that being said, for the result of that, I feel like is these guys see us do that, and they know that we're putting in the time. We're matching them putting in the time.
Absolutely.
So there's that collective. We're all trying to get to the same place, and we're all trying to do it together. No role is more important than the other. Whether it's a head coach or special teams or position, whatever. Everybody's role is just as important. It takes all of us. So. Developing that as far as leaders go, I think that's why the biggest thing I would say about our group and our players is they feel like they own it. They feel like they have ownership in our program. And whenever you own something, we all know when you're a kid and you drive the car your parents gave you versus when you're making the payment on it, you treat it a little bit different.
It's a little different.
Like, oh, hey, you're about to run out of gas. Oh, yeah, that's no big deal. And you run out of gas. But when you drive your own car, that thing ain't going to run out of gas because you got to pay to get it towed. You got to pay AAA. You got to do all these things. So just our players feel like they own it, which means they buy into it even more, which produces that leadership aspect to, if I don't hold my end of the bargain, I'm letting everybody down around me. It's not so much about them. It's about the program as a whole.
I love that, Coach. Tell me about the young man you have in the room right now.
We got 4 guys with us representing all classes. We got Braden Russell, who's a senior linebacker, played a lot of football for us, played some tight end. KJ Roberts is back there. He's our right tackle. The left tackle is Jaylon Owens. He's so we've got our bookend tackles here, our big boys, and then we got Jack Ferguson back there. He enjoys media day so much. He's a big fan. So if you get a chance to talk to him, talk to Jack. He smiles a lot. He's got
definitely gonna lock in.
He's got a face for podcasts.
All right.
Not the live streams though. Not the live stream podcast, just podcasts and radio.
Coach.
No, he's good. Good dude, man.
Coach.
He's I'm not talking about your face. You're good. You did Matanzas right. You've won today. No matter what you do the rest of the time here.
Well, I'm rooting for Matanzas. I think you guys have a lot more winning to do.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I'm ready to talk to one of these leaders, man.
All right, here's Braden Russell.
Good luck,
Thanks
Coach.
for having me.
Head that way.
How you doing?
Mr. Russell, good to see you, sir. Your coach was telling me a little bit about. Well, first introduce yourself, position.
I'm Burton Russell, class of 2025, outside linebacker.
Any offers?
No, not yet.
All right, we're gonna change that.
Yes, sir.
Your coach was telling me about the buy-in, about the culture, about how you guys run things down in Matanzas. Help me break it down for us.
Yeah. So coaches they're pretty strict about having us be there in the morning. They hold us accountable. If we do something wrong, they're telling us, they're making us get it right.
Straight like that.
Yeah.
Straight like that. Okay. Well, let's talk about football. What are you looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to playing some games, being around my teammates, having fun, winning some games, trying to make a good playoff run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What position you say you play again?
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker.
Yes,
so you hurt people.
Yeah.
You hurt people for a living. What are some of your expectations you have for yourself for your own game? Or what are some of the growth that you've seen from last year to this year?
Well, I've definitely gotten bigger from last year. So I want to keep growing. I want to have a good season. One of my goals this year is to have like 100 tackles. So yeah.
Just 100?
It's a lot.
Look at you. Look at you being humble. I appreciate you. How can we you have Huddle, right?
Yeah.
All right, so how can we see some of your stats, see some of your highlights so I can keep up with you guys? Because I'm a fan now.
All right. You can just look up Matanzas football, and then you can go through and search through our names, stats, highlights, stuff like that.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, go Matanzas.
Yes, sir.
Hand on the game, we are not playing the same. No, we not looking to change. Hand on the wheel, they think we lacking the drive. Boy, you should stay in your lane. Foot on the gas, I do not care if I crash, as long as I stick to the plan.